What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today, I've got another match from Twitter. This is against Zik, and I decided to keep going with the weather theme that I've kind of been doing lately. So this time, I'm using a Sandstorm team. This team was built by my buddy Skyranter, and it's pretty awesome. So, looking at my opponent's team, I'm definitely afraid of the Celesteela. Those things are absolutely annoying, along with the Tapu Lele. Might have some problem with that, and I do notice that he also has a Torkoal on his team, meaning that there will be Sun coming out eventually. The thing actually got the Drought ability this generation, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, to start things off, I decided to lead off with Rocky Balboa here because I want to get up my Sandstorm and potentially Stealth Rocks, as he actually ends up leading off with his Lurantis, so that's definitely not the best lead matchup for me, but it is actually really cool that they gave Golurk the Sandstream ability this generation. Makes it much more useful for Sandstorm teams, and that's pretty freaking sweet. So I don't want to take a Leaf Storm to the face, so I decided to switch out into my Como-O, who is pretty fitting to take this thing on. I think even with the +2 special attack, if he does have Hidden Power Ice, it wouldn't be able to take me out here. So he goes for the Leaf Storm. It is going to give him the plus in the special attack due to his ability, and he then gets hit by some Sandstorm, which is awesome because I actually don't get hit by that because I do have the Overcoat ability, which blocks damage from like weather effects. So pretty damn useful there. And at this point, I just decided to go straight for the Flamethrower, as he's actually going to switch into his Torkoal here, as that's actually kind of annoying because it is going to get rid of my Sandstorm that I worked so damn hard to get out there. It fucking just getting rid of all my hard work, brings out the Sun, and the Flamethrower is going to do a decent amount of damage to this thing. I don't really know what this Torkoal wants to do. My initial guess was that it's probably just like some type of support with like Toxic and Rapid Spin and stuff like that, so I now decided to switch out because I don't really have a whole lot to do to that thing. I am Choice Spexed into Flamethrowers, so I actually just decided to bring back out Rocky Balboa to bring back out my Sandstorm because I'm like, hey, I put this up for a reason, guy. I want this shit to stay up. So he's actually just going to go for the Yawn, and Gigalith doesn't really enjoy being drowsy. I honestly don't really want this thing asleep. It seems like it will be pretty useful later on. I mean, I mainly want to keep Gigalith around just to be able to set up Sandstorm whenever I need it to, but I do now decide to switch back into Como-O because I actually expect him to want to go back into the Lurantis because the matchup against Balboa. So that is actually exactly what happens as he brings back out the Lurantis. So Florence coming out here looking nice and fabulous, as just getting hit by that Sandstorm, and then eating some leftovers. So really just no progress being made there, but at least I have a solid matchup here, and this time I actually decided to click Clanging Scales because I figured he was probably going to want to switch maybe back into the Torkoal, just kind of just repetitive as fuck, but he actually goes into the Lantern, and I've actually not played against a Lantern yet. These things are pretty damn useful, but check this out. With the Choice Specs, I'm able to do over half damage to that thing. I'm guessing it was probably especially defensive, which is why he switched it in. But after the freaking Sandstorm damage, it is going to be able to knock that thing out. But here I predict him to want to switch into his Tapu Lele. He has a fairy, a perfectly good fairy just sitting in the back of his team, so I expect him to want to go into that thing, trying to block the Clanging Scales, as he actually does. And Rosita over here is going to bring out the Psychic Surge, which really isn't that big of a deal unless I have my Lycanroc try to go for the Accelerock or whatever. Pretty much just blocks priority. But Handlebars has the matchup here because I can go for the return and do a buttload of damage, as he's actually just going to switch directly back into the Torkoal, be able to get rid of the Sandstorm yet again. But the good news is this thing is going to take a bunch of damage from a return. A Choice Banded Stoutland in the Sandstorm with the Sand Rush ability is pretty fucking deadly, but obviously the Sun did get rid of my Sandstorm, so I'm not as fast as I would be there, so I do have to switch out here on this next matchup as he brings back out the Tapu Lele, and I don't really want to take an attack from this thing. I probably could end up taking one, but I want to try to save Stoutlands at this point. And I decided to go into Robin Hood here, who is pretty specially defensive. This thing is kind of just here to absorb special attacks and then just spread Toxics and stuff like that. So he goes for the Psychic, and Critical Hit is going to do way too much damage. So I'm definitely not going to be able to take another one of those, but honestly, Robin Hood wasn't looking super useful this match, so being able to actually just sack this thing off wasn't really that bad in the long run because I am able to bring in whatever I want in the next turn here. So down goes Decidueye. That's kind of a bummer because this was my first time ever using Decidueye and he kind of failed me, but it's alright. So this allows me to bring out Balboa. I am going to be able to get rid of the Sun, bring out the Sandstream yet again, and I am holding this Smooth Rock item, so that is going to make my Sandstorms last quite a while. So he goes for the Psychic here. I'm guessing he actually didn't expect me to have the Heavy Slam, so Psychic does over half, but I'm able to then pretty much just body slam the hell out of that thing, and that is a dead Tapu Lele, which is awesome to see go down because that's a pretty big threat out of the way, and the weirdness is going to disappear from the battlefield. So down goes the Tapu, and that's awesome. So now he's going to bring in the Mamoswine, who I was really afraid of this match, and I really want to keep Balboa around in case I need to send out some Sandstorm later, so I decided to switch into Handlebars here. This was kind of a risky play. This was basically banking on the fact that he might not have the Ice Shard. Considering he had a team with Tapu Lele on it, I was kind of assuming he might not carry priority, but Yeah, so he actually does end up having the Ice Shard. I was able to live the initial Earthquake, which was my plan, and then I would have been able to fire back at that thing, been able to outspeed with the Sandstorm up. But unfortunately, Ice Shard is going to take me out, and at this point, I'm able to bring in the Three Stooges. And Alolan Dugtrio is just hilarious looking, and it's actually pretty damn good. I kind of like its typing, and its ability is really nice in the Sandstorm. It actually ups the power of Rock, Ground, and Steel type moves when the Sandstorm's up. So I go for the Earthquake, and he switches in Lantern basically just for death fodder there, and that is a dead fishy. So at this point, Dugtrio's pretty much grooving over here, just bouncing around with our sweet ass hair. We do get hit by a little bit of Life Orb, but I'm in the Sandstorm, and I'm feeling pretty solid. So now the big ass steel ultra defensive monster beast thing comes out, and I just decide to go for a Stone Edge here. I wanted to get as much damage as possible to make this thing easily killable later, as I actually end up getting a critical hit, which was really nice for me. But he now goes for the Flame Charge, and that is definitely going to take out Dugtrio, unfortunately. But at least, you know, Three Stooges kind of got to do a little bit of action. So it's alright, guys. I still think your hair looks sweet. So down goes Dugtrio. He is going to get his beast boost, but luckily the Sandstorm's still up, and it's seeming like I do have a little bit of momentum coming my way still. So I'm able to bring in Lycanroc. Logan comes out here as I'm able to just finish this thing off with a Fire Fang. So I do carry Fire Fang, which is pretty sweet, basically just for steel types, and that is going to take that thing out. So really stoked to see that thing go down. The critical hit was pretty useful for me. I felt kind of bad about that, but I feel bad about this next play, so check this out. He brings out the Lurantis. The only thing I can really do here is just stay in and go for the Fire Fang. So I do outspeed. The Fire Fang is going to be able to do a lot of damage to this thing. Get hurt by my Life Orb, but he gets flinched, and that is really unfortunate for him because that's going to allow me to basically just go for another Fire Fang this next turn, and that Lurantis would have been able to finish me off with a nice little Leaf Storm to the face. But unfortunately for him, I forgot Fire Fang could even flinch, honestly. But one more is going to take care of the Praying Mantis thing, and that is really bad. I got a lot of hacks this match, honestly. It's kind of that's just how this shit goes. A lot of the time I get hacked, but this time I pretty much just got pretty lucky. But now he's going to bring back out the Mamoswine here, and the Sandstorm went away, which is really unfortunate. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch back into Balboa. It is going to basically be able to put up Sandstorm for the rest of the match here, seeing as we don't really have a whole lot left on our teams here. So the Sandstream is going to come up. That's going to stick around for about 8 turns, as he's now going to go for the Earthquake, and that is definitely going to finish off my Rocky Balboa, who looks sweet as hell shiny though. Check out that shiny. I love the colors on that bad boy. But yeah, so down goes Rocky, and at this point, I'm now able to bring back out Logan, and my thought process here was initially just to go for the Stealth or the Stone Edge, just to do as much damage as possible, but I decided to actually just go for the Accelerock. So I knew that I was going to die to his next attack, but my main thought process there was I wanted to whittle this thing down to the point where Como-O wouldn't have any problems being able to take this thing out later. So Earthquake is going to take out my Lycanroc, and that is completely fine because I was able to just get a little bit of damage on this thing to ensure that he wasn't Focus Ashed or some shenanigans like that. But yeah, this allows me to bring back out my Como-O, and at this point, I'm able to just finish this thing off with the Clanging Scales. I figured he probably didn't go for the Ice Shard just because he knew it wouldn't end up killing, but Clanging Scales is going to take care of the Mamoswine, and that is going to be the end of the match there. So definitely hacks on my side. I got pretty damn lucky against this guy's team. But I was really afraid because he had the freaking Tapu and the Celesteela, and I don't know, that was a pretty good match. I thought it was definitely an interesting one. I'm really enjoying this team, so there probably will be a couple more battles with this Sandstorm team. So hit that like button if you guys enjoyed, and I will see you later. Peace out.